Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. So we have the story protagonist of season 5, Perseus. All of his skills are now out on the Pioneer server. We're going to be reviewing them and analyzing how good he actually is. Now first of all, because this is the Pioneer server, things are still subject to change by their official release. But let's go ahead and see what he has to offer currently. So he is a light bearer warrior hero, melee hero with a range of 1. His ultimate ability, Divine Rend, is going to begin with 0 pre-fill energy. Perseus chooses a direction and marches 3 tiles forward with dazzling spear work. Along the way, he deals 85% damage to adjacent enemies 11 times and continuously knocks them back in the direction of his march. At the end of the march, Perseus performs a mighty shield bash, dealing 280% damage to all enemies within 1 tile and stunning them for 2 seconds. Perseus stays unaffected while casting the skill, and with upgrades, this is going to go up to 100% and 105% on each of his marching, and then 320% on the shield bash. And keep in mind, this is going to strike 11 times for his marching, 11 times 105%. So overall, pretty high damage from his ultimate. The fact that it can crowd control and knock back and then finally stun multiple enemies who are adjacent to him is really interesting. So overall, pretty interesting ultimate ability. However, obviously not for Dream Realm. This would be either for AFK stages or PvP. We have to see the rest of his kit to decide. But yeah, there we have his ultimate ability. So we have his skill number 2, Spear Shield Combo. This is going to have an 8-second cooldown. Perseus swings both spear and shield in a circle to strike nearby enemies. With his spear, he deals up to 230% damage to adjacent enemies. With his shield, he deals up to 170% damage to adjacent enemies while gaining a shield value equal to 360% plus 80% of the damage dealt for 6 seconds. While the shield lasts, his attack speed increases by 35. Okay, so this ability, honestly, a bit of bonus damage, not really any crowd control onto enemies here, but it does provide himself with a shield, pretty decent amount of a shield, and also an attack speed buff. But honestly, looking at this ability, I do not think it is very game changing. It's just kind of a self shield, a bit of bonus damage, and an attack speed self buff. And attack speed is not one of the strongest buffs you can get. So let's see the rest of his skills. Fertile Ground. I think this is the one we saw in the trailer. He put a crop field around him, like pretty wide radius around him. I want to see what is exactly the effect of this. So Fertile Ground, there's no cooldown here. Before Perseus takes heavy damage, the ground within 1 tile around him turns fertile. Allies standing on this fertile ground have their attack increase. Oh, it's an attack buff by 14.5, and it will increase with skill ups as well. And physical and magical defense increased by 19%, kind of reminding me of a Sonya type buff. When Perseus' HP drops below 40% of his initial maximum health for the first time, he draws power from the fertile ground, increasing his maximum health permanently by 60%. We saw this in the trailer. He had like a grayed out, or like a dulled out health bar, which was boosted over his initial maximum health. And this is going to be increased by 60% of his initial maximum health and healing himself for the same amount. Once the power is drawn, the fertile ground withers away permanently. Okay, this is a little bit interesting and a little bit weird. So at the beginning, I guess, he's going to summon the fertile ground, but it's only 1 tile radius. It seemed more than that in the trailer. Let's carry on reading down here. No, it is just going to be 1 tile radius with maximum level. It's going to be 17.5% attack and 25% physical and magical defense. But I guess the advantage of that is it's going to be right from the beginning of the battle. Like Sonya's buff takes a little bit of time to ramp up, and also skill power is also going to boost the attack buff that he provides. So that's always something you want to keep in mind. There could be some potential use for Dream Realm. Probably not, because Sonya's attack buff overall is going to be higher. And we also have Ravyorn coming. However, there is up to a 17.5% attack buff and then 25% physical and magical defense buff. But this is only for 1 tile around him. So that's a pretty low radius. We're going to have to look at maybe something else will buff it. His exclusive equipment might buff it, because in the trailer, it looked longer than 1 tile. And like when he draws below 40% health, he's going to instantly heal 60% of his health and also boost his total maximum health to 60% higher, which is interesting. Definitely good survivability in his kit. Okay, and moving on. But then the crop field is going to wither away after that is triggered. So that's another basically drawback. So Hero Focus increases attack by up to 15%, battle further increases attack by 10% when he has temporary stat buff from allies. Okay, so stat buffing him from other allies is going to boost his damage. Now the question is, so far we haven't seen any major damage output leading for him to be good in Dream Realm or anything like that. We need some true damage. We need some HP loss damage. Then maybe there is even option for Dream Realm. Let's see his exclusive equipment. This is going to be kind of make or break. Divine Grace. Perseus is blessed by Bountiful Grace. When he gains a temporary stat buff, its effect is increased by 20%. Oh, wow. He increases the value of his buffs onto him. So if you're buffing him up from other allies, whether it be Smokey, Mikola, increasing their effect by 20%. Now, I don't know if it's scaling up. Like, for example, Smokey's attack buff is 20% of your attack. Will it just scale it up to 24%, which is 20% of the 20%? Or will it be just adding 20% on top? I think it would probably... Adding 20% on top seems way too much. But anyway, each temporary buff from a different ally also increases the damage up by 15% and reduces his damage taken by 15%. Wow, this effect stacks up to 4 times. So he can get up to 60% bonus damage dealt and up to 60% reduced damage taken just if he's max stacked with non-permanent stat buffs from allies. That is really, honestly, crazy. When Perseus gains a temporary stat buff, its effect is increased by 30%, and level 4 plus 15 exclusive equipment. When Perseus gains a temporary stat buff, its effect is increased by 40%. Well, this has to be scaling off of 40% of whatever the buff amount is. Like, for example, we gave the example of Smokey, 20% attack buff for Perseus. It will go to 40% of 20, which is a bonus 8%. So from 20 to 28%, I'm assuming. It can be additive. 40% would be way too much additive. And then level 3, when Perseus has 2 temporary stat buffs from different allies, the damage he deals is converted to true damage and he becomes unaffected. This effect lasts at least 6 seconds each time it's triggered. Oh, wow. This is looking crazy. This plus 10 exclusive equipment is changing everything. They're like, yeah, in the previous season, Indris was like kind of a fail. Main story hero being one of the weakest heroes to be recruiting. They're trying to make up for that. Perseus, this plus 10 exclusive equipment really is like a deal maker, a game changer for him. Converting his damage into true damage when he has 2 temporary stat buffs, and he already has massive damage boosting, up to 60% damage boost, which will apply to true damage as well. And then he has more effectiveness of it buffs onto him. He's actually looking insane. He could even be a Dream Realm damage dealer because he will buff your allies, but also he can deal some insane damage now with this conversion to true damage. Wow. Honestly, I'm kind of blown away. I was not expecting this. I thought Perseus was going to be a passable hero, but this is looking very, very, very strong. Supreme Plus expands the rate. Oh, there we go. Expands the range of fertile ground by 1 tile. Yes. So it's going to be a 2 tile radius of a fertile land, like we saw in the trailer. That is also really important because 1 tile is way too small. But like a 2 tile range basically is like the Lupines or of Shakir. It's a 2 tile radius. So like you can fit plenty of allies in there, especially melee heroes in there with Perseus. Very, very interesting. Overall, Perseus is looking solid. Very solid. And I actually think he could potentially be a must pull. Because if he has any Dream Realm usage, which he definitely can thanks to the true damage on his plus 10 exclusive equipment, that is going to make him almost a must pull status. For AFK stages, I don't even know. Like, he's going to still provide some pretty useful stuff for AFK stages. He has decent crowd control in his ultimate as well. And he has a lot of survivability. He's going to be basically like probably one of the best, even though he's a warrior, I see him also as like a tank, because he has a lot of tanking capabilities. The fact that he, once he drops below 40% health, he gets that in the immediate heal and boosting his initial maximum health by 60%. That is big. And then also has that damage reduction when you have temporary stat buffs applied to him. He's going to be difficult to kill, and also he's going to have insane damage output. I'm really thinking Perseus is going to be one of those heroes to maybe be recruiting for. And that is tough because we just had a really loaded season 4, right? Echoes of Descent, and now going into the new season, we might have a must pull right off the bat, which is crazy. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts about Perseus in the comment section down below. Definitely, I was not expecting him to be this strong. I just had the feeling he was going to be like another Indris, which would be passable, but he's looking very solid. Of course, we have to wait and see for testing. Also, we need to see the final version of him when he's on the official global server or VN server, but for now, he's looking great. So let me know your thoughts about Perseus in the comment section down below. Do you plan to recruit him in his current state? Is there anything I missed? Let me know. Also, if you're not already a member of my AFK Journey Discord server, please join that. There's a link to that in the description of this video. And finally, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. There is a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.